After World War II, Americans and Japanese both needed trucks, but for very different reasons. That observation sent American and Japanese manufacturers in opposite directions for the next 50 years. America built trucks bigger. Japan built trucks more efficient. But why? From durability alone, Japanese trucks should have far outsold American trucks, even in America. But that never happened. Let's explore why. Start with the ground each truck was built to drive on, because that ground decided everything. In 1945, America comes out of the war richer than it went in. The factories that built tanks and bombers turned back to civilian work. Gas costs almost nothing. The country is enormous and getting more spread out by the year. In 1956, it starts pouring concrete for the interstate highway system, tens of thousands of miles of open road with no reason to ever build small. So the American truck has one job: carry more, pull more. Haul a cattle ranch or a construction crew across distances that would terrify a European. Every decade, the buyer asks for more capability. Therefore, every decade, the truck grows. Japan comes out of the same war with the opposite hand. Cities flattened, no oil of its own to speak of, so every gallon of fuel is imported and expensive. The roads are narrow, the alleys narrower, the parking non-existent. A big American truck in post-war Tokyo is not a status symbol. It is a vehicle that physically does not fit. So the Japanese truck also has one job, but a different job entirely. Move goods cheaply through tight streets on as little fuel as possible without ever leaving its owner stranded. Small isn't a compromise there. Small is the whole point. Two countries, the same machine, opposite instructions. And once those instructions are set, they compound for 50 years. Now picture the person each truck is actually built for, because they are nothing alike. The early Japanese pickup is built for the small operator, the rice farmer hauling his crop to market, the fishmonger moving the morning catch, the shopkeeper who is also the delivery driver, the mechanic, and the bookkeeper, all in one pair of hands. This buyer runs the thinnest margins on earth. A truck that breaks down doesn't just cost a repair bill, it costs the day's income because there is no second truck and no spare driver. For this man, reliability is everything. A truck that runs forever is the difference between making rent and missing it. Cross the ocean and the American truck buyer is a different animal. He's a rancher, a contractor, a hauler. He measures a truck by what it pulls and what it carries, and as the decades roll on, by something harder to put a number on, what the truck says about him in the lot at the job site. He trades up when the new model lands. He wants more cab, more chrome, more grunt. He is not lying awake doing math on cost per mile because, in America, for a long time, nobody has to. So the Japanese engineer is solving for a man who cannot afford to break down. The American engineer is solving for a man who wants more. Give those two briefs to two rooms of engineers, and you do not get two versions of the same truck. You get two different species. Put a Japanese pickup from 1985 next to an American one, and the difference isn't on the surface. It's underneath, in the decision nobody photographs. Start with the engine. Lift the hood on a Toyota pickup from that era, and you find the 22R, a 2.4-liter four-cylinder, making around 100 horsepower. Lift the hood on a Ford F-150 from the same year, and there is a 5-liter V8 making close to 190. On paper, it is no contest. But the Toyota's little 4 is barely working. It is a low-revving engine that makes its strongest pull low in the rev range where a truck actually lives, and it makes its modest power well inside its own structural limits, never straining, never running at the edge of what it can take. An engine that never gets pushed to its breaking point doesn't reach it. The Ford Vive 8 makes nearly double the power from twice the displacement, and it earns every bit of the respect it gets. But it is asked to do more, and everything asked to do more wears faster. Then look at how the little engine is built. The block is cast iron, heavy, and almost impossible to kill, the kind of metal that shrugs off the overheating that warps a lighter motor. The crankshaft is forged steel. The camshaft is turned by a timing chain instead of a rubber belt, so there is no scheduled appointment with failure every 60,000 miles. Even the piston rings are soft on purpose, designed to wear in rather than seize, which is why these cylinders refuse to wear ridges even past 300,000 miles. None of it is exotic. It is the opposite of exotic. It is a deliberate choice to overbuild every part beyond what the engine will ever ask of it. Toyota even has a name for the priority, quality, durability, and reliability, and they build it like a religion. The American truck is engineered just as carefully, but toward a different target. Capability, comfort, and the next model year, more tow rating, more features, a cabin that feels like a living room. None of that is a mistake. It is exactly what the buyer asked for. But every feature is one more thing that can break, and a truck built to be traded in after 7 years is not a truck built to run for 30. That was never the assignment, which raises the obvious question. If the formula for an indestructible truck is right there, understress the engine, overbuild the frame, strip out the failure points, why couldn't American manufacturers just copy it and own that reputation too? They could have. The engineering was never a secret. Detroit could have built a stripped-down, under-stressed, run-forever pickup any year it wanted. It didn't because its buyer never made it. The American market rewards the new model, the bigger number, the louder grille. It does not pay extra for a truck that quietly refuses to die at 300,000 miles because the man buying it planned to trade it in long before then anyway. Japan had no such luxury. Its buyer would run a truck into the ground and then run it 10 more years, so longevity wasn't a marketing angle, it was the product. And reliability has a strange property. It compounds. Every Toyota that crosses 300,000 miles sells the next one, and the one after that on nothing but word of mouth and a neighbor pointing at his odometer. You cannot buy that reputation in a single model cycle. You earn it one unkillable truck at a time over decades. And by the time Detroit might have wanted it, Japan had a 30-year head start it could never hand back. So the reliability crown was not won in a lab. It was won in a parking lot, one high-mileage truck at a time. Which brings us to the part that should make no sense. If Japanese trucks are the more reliable machine and everyone knows it, why did they never win America? They never got to fight for it. In 1964, a trade fight over, of all things, frozen chickens ends with America slapping a 25% tariff on imported light trucks, 25% on the exact vehicles Japan would have used to storm the full-size market. Overnight, building a big Japanese truck for American buyers stops making financial sense, and the only way around the wall is to build factories on American soil, which takes years and billions. The most profitable corner of the entire market, the full-size pickup, gets sealed off behind a tariff before the contest can even start. And where Japan could compete on the smaller trucks, it ran straight into the second problem. The full-size buyer was never shopping on durability in the first place. He was shopping on size, on capability, on what the truck said about him. The Ford F-Series has been America's best-selling truck for nearly 50 straight years and the best-selling vehicle of any kind, car or truck, for more than 40. At its peak, it outsold Toyota's trucks 3-1. You cannot win a durability argument with a buyer who isn't having that argument. So here's where they actually stand. Japan won everything it set out to win. In the midsize class today, the Toyota Tacoma sells more than 200,000 a year, more than double its nearest rival, and it has owned that segment for a decade. It won the reliability reputation so completely that American makers now advertise against it. The more reliable truck won the engineering. It won the reputation. It won its own market. It just never won America, because you cannot out-engineer a tariff, and you cannot sell longevity to a man who is buying something else the whole time. That is the strange truth of the pickup. The better-built truck and the best-selling truck were never the same truck, and they were never going to be. One country built a tool, the other built a tool that doubles as a flag, and both of them got exactly the buyer they engineered for. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and watch the next one above.